kind of switching gears, but on the same thread because I think I want to tie it into kind of where I'm going. Of these guys, it doesn't have to just be when we're talking about Guelph either. Just any OHL team. If you had to put a guess on it, like we don't have to quote you on the numbers, but how many of these kids do you think go on to have a actual professional career in hockey where they make money? Like this could be my job, and then when I retire, like I'm good. How many kids on the average OHL team? Just whatever the number.
Like, okay, so you're saying we got 20 OHL teams or 60 CHL teams. You're saying right now on these everyone's roster, how many guys are going to go out and make like 100 grand or more a year for a long period of time?
Yeah, where it's like
for like 10 years, 20 years?
Yeah, like where it's like this was enough where I didn't have to do anything else but focus on being a hockey player as my job. And let's say they retire when they're 34 and they have to do a career change. They still have to work.
Yeah, I think a high number would be 5 or 6. That'd be a high number. Right. 5, 3 to 5. 3 might even be high, but 3 to 5 guys that can go up. So we're talking Europe, like a long American League, some type of pro thing, NHL. Yeah,
any of those.
Yeah.
So you're saying 3 to 5.
Yeah, I think that would that's going to be high.
Coming out of the top development league in terms of percentages of guys that play in the NHL or pretty close with the NCAA now.
Yeah, I'd say that's high though.
Okay, so
5 would be high.
Even if it's 3.
Yeah.
Even if let's say it's 3. Okay, so what happens to the rest of those guys? Like where do they go? Like where do you think they go? Like just some examples of what they do after. From
just
like
ask me a general question.
Yeah, just general. Like where would they go? Okay. Like a couple options.
Like as far as hockey or life?
Anything.
Either. Okay. Well, what happens? Okay, typically you just look at our wall, look at the guys that we train, look at me, my friends. Typically, what happens is you have when you get drafted, play college. You either go there with the mindset that you want to be a pro, or you want to get your school paid for. Like I was just listening to a podcast with Devon Taves on it, and he had no idea he was going to be a pro. He just wanted his school paid for. So for making money was a bonus for him. But let's say most guys go in and they want to be, they're hoping to be pros. It's what happens is a lot of guys will get to the 19, 20-year-old age in junior, and some guys just know they fizzle out. It's done. Some guys just know it's over. They might play, like as far as being a pro, so they play CIS or University Canadian Youth Sports, or they try mucking out thinking maybe they're going to get better in the lowest level pro leagues, right? And some guys just go, okay, I just need to go and work or whatever. So I would say it's probably in thirds. I think it's.
I'm cool with
that.
And
I think that's kind of life. It's like in thirds. A third have have talent, have skill, or are stupid enough. I don't mean that like they cannot admit that they won't be, that the dream is over, like they don't have it, and that's okay. So I think a third pursue it for as long as they can, and I think you end up with a couple of them that play American League and then up and down with the East Coast and pro. Yeah, would that have, I would say, like 4, 5, 6, 7 years of that kind of thing. You have a few that go to CIS and then they try to pursue like a Europe league, like the lowest level Europe leagues, just say that I played pro for a little bit. And then you get a third that just say, you know what, done hockey. I'm going to be a fireman or a policeman or a ambulance man or accountant or whatever. But I would say it's thirds. Yeah, go ahead.
So you can answer for you, and then I want to answer for me. How much time, if any, did you put into thinking about what happens when you're done playing?
0.
While you were playing?
0.
Yeah. So
because no, that's no guidance. And if there was guidance, I didn't want to hear it. I was a hockey player. And to some degree, that's good for some people, and to some degree, it's not. It's really good for someone that says, I'm going to do this, and there's no plan B. I like that. Providing, do you know what I'm providing? Providing that you treat this like a job, right? Then you give yourself a reason, like you burn all the boats, right? You say, I am doing this.
Yeah, that works for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, and you give it like you don't do it till you're 40, but you do it like let's say you're junior college or whatever, and you say there are no options. This is what I'm going to do, and you get up and you eat, and everything you do is to make yourself a better player, and you actually focus on everything you could do for 5 years, and then that's the timeline where you have to look at it and say, yeah, no, maybe, and then reevaluate. But for 5 years, I think you should, if this is what you want to do, you should and you have to have plan A and plan A only. And then if you're not going to be willing to dedicate everything, or and be, I don't like to use use the term realistic, because realistic is not realistic actually, right? Because if someone's 5'6", they're not supposed to make the NHL, but 5'6ers do, and Matt Rempe wasn't supposed to be able to skate well enough, but he plays in the NHL. Like, you know what I mean? So guys that where there's a will, there is a way. If you put everything into it,
So yeah,
I'm
so
willing to do other things. Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
So for you then, because I'll get to me in a second, but for you, this is like a stupid question, but if you could go back and you would do it again, like would it have been useful, or how would it have been useful? Who's that? Oh, would it be useful, or would it have been useful for you to obviously like have some preparation or think beyond, or even if it was still in hockey, come up with a plan? So like you ended up being in hockey after,
Yeah,
but
I had
even
a small break, and then I got back into hockey.
yeah, so even for you though, as maybe you were realizing that okay, the NHL thing isn't going to work out, even having a plan insofar as hockey is concerned, like even in, like okay, I want to try to create a hockey business or something afterwards. That kind of preparation, I would imagine you would agree, would have been useful or helpful to walk through or have some guidance through, or even just take some time on your own to try to figure it out in the same way you figured out hockey and practicing and all of that, doing some of that. Now, did you have anyone around you, whether it was coaches, whether it was family, whatever, anyone that had ever said anything like that to you? That hey, maybe like think about preparing for after this.
Well, Sam McMaster was our general manager when I played for the Sudbury Wolves, and he told me that if I ever needed to coach, come and see him because I'd make a great coach, and that was one thing. After that, no, there was. I mean, well, here's the thing, right? You get advice. Like, see, the thing is, you get some people talk to you, some people give you advice. It's just whether you're listening or how they bring it apart, or not bring it apart, how they present it to you. So if someone says, "Well, you got to prepare after hockey," that's not really, and who's saying it to you is really important, and you got to be willing to listen. So you're asking me, would it made a difference, right? No, like probably not.
Because you weren't listening?
Not listening, didn't want to listen. This is what I wanted, right? And so I think at that time, probably not. I probably wouldn't have listened. But here's one of those things. I think it's the drip method, anyways. It's you have to hear, you have to hear things not even consistently, but over and over and over and over. If you're listening, so I would say, like, and this is what I feel like I've done as a parent, is you're educating your kids slowly from a young age, right? It's how you present it to them, right? Like it's if you're negative, like for me, the thing was, if you don't have an education, you can't get a job. That never scared me, and I don't think it should scare a lot of people anymore, especially.
Yeah.
Because
Especially
my wife,
now, yeah.
my wife and I were. She was. I piss her off when I do this. She goes, you can't get anywhere without a grade 12 education. I go, yes, you can. She goes, no, you can't. You can't even sell cars. I go, yes, you can. She goes, no, you can't. I said, I guarantee you right now, because I know how to talk to people. I can get a job selling cars. I can do real estate. I can do a ton of things. So that's not a scary thing, and it never scared me before. But I think if you're educating your kids along the way and keep them aware and show them that this course would help you. See, here's the thing, right? Like, as a hockey player, for me, is if teachers would have presented, or parents would have presented, or people that knew me would have presented it as how to make your hockey life better. If you read this book, it would make you, like, something stupid like, if you read this book, you learn how to talk to people. You know how to talk to people. You have good interviews. You have good interviews on Hockey Night in Canada. Then you make more money, or But all I need to know is do good interviews, and you'd be able to speak well. I'd be like, oh, okay, like.
Related
There's
to
one.
hockey, that some of
Yeah,
your
everything should have been related to hockey for me, because that's the only thing I really understood. So if that was there, right? If someone said finances, learn your finances, like, because One day when you make $100,000 or your signing bonus is $100,000, you don't get $100,000. You only get 60. Really? That's because I talked to a kid last year about that. He goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, you're only gonna get that much." "What do you mean?" I go, "Because you have to pay your taxes, and then you're gonna have to buy insurance. You're gonna have to do this, this, and this." So that was an education to him. So that's if he always presented in your hockey money, and then if you have your hockey money, you can make $10 million, and if you take this away and you buy some real estate or something like that, and that then it makes money for you, then maybe the just goes, "Oh, I would like to do that, buy some real estate with my money and never have to work again and be rich," right? Like how it's presented. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.